Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
President Biden, in his own way, throws down the gauntlet, and former President Trump accepts the challenge. A 2020 debate rematch, well, it is on. For now, there will only be 2 debates. CNN will host the first one June 27th, while ABC is scheduled to hold the second debate on September 10th. Nancy Cordes and Robert Costa join us now. So, Nancy, I want to start with you. The calculus for the Biden re-election campaign, why now? Why jump into the debate season so early, historically early?
Well, what the Biden campaign says, Major, is that the reason they want to do this early is because, first of all, voters go to the polls early now. They don't all go to the polls in November anymore. They start voting sometimes in September and certainly in October in early voting states. And so they want to get out there as quickly as possible. They say that they felt that late June might be a good time because it will be after former President Trump's criminal trial has ended and after President Biden gets back from the G7 summit in Italy. But beyond that, obviously, this is a campaign that is looking to change the dynamic and change the narrative. We've seen a slew of recent polls that have Biden trailing Trump, and they are hoping that a major moment like a debate where President Biden can go toe-to-toe with his old foe once again could change things up and hopefully put President Biden, they think, in a better position heading into the home stretch.
Robert Costa, the view from the Trump campaign.
Inside the Trump campaign and among Trump donors and allies, there is a sense that the debate is an opportunity for former President Trump to contrast with President Biden. They want the face-to-face meeting, in part because they want to contrast with Trump's own activities on the legal front. He's confronting this criminal trial right now here in New York. I've been covering that. And that's not exactly the picture they want to paint for the country about what a Trump presidency would mean. And so a debate gives him an opportunity to go not only attack President Biden's policies in his term in office, but to try to say that a Trump term would be more than chaos and legal challenges.
And Robert, is there any sense that the Trump campaign will back away from its commitments or try to enlarge the map or the calendar of potential presidential debates?
Major, I've covered former President Trump since 2011, have interviewed him many times, have read his books. He sees deal making, whether it's a deal on a debate or a deal on a business project or politically, as something that's always fluid, always negotiable. So I would not be surprised to see a bump in the road between now and the first debate on CNN in terms of the context of everything. But you do see inside the Trump orbit, especially among the top officials at the campaign, that they just want this to happen, that they believe that by not having an audience, by being focused, just being in a room with the 2 moderators at CNN, it gives them an opportunity to bring this general election campaign to a start earlier than usual.
Nancy, I've been talking to Democrats today, and one of the observations they've made to me, I'd like to run it by you, is that what the White House and the re-election campaign learned from the State of the Union address was from a tentpole event like that where the president is center stage and aggressive, that has a resonant effect not only with the base of the party, but with lightly attached Democrats or moderates/independents trying to make up their minds. Is that another reason why to start this debate process so early?
Sure. I mean, if you look back to those 2 debates that the candidates held in 2020, they were pretty rambunctious affairs. There were a lot of personal attacks. The current president gave as good as he got. In fact, a lot of the polling that was done right after those 2 debates showed that President Biden won in the eyes of many voters. And so the campaign believes that another debate would be beneficial, even though they know that these 2 men are likely to get down in the mud again. In fact, they traded insults just today. You had you have the current president talking like Dirty Harry, saying, "Make my day." And then you had the former president saying, we better do these debates soon before the president loses another step. So I think that that's kind of the tone that you can expect. And that might be part of the reason when we asked voters today in Philadelphia and in Atlanta, in 2 swing states, whether they were going to watch the sequel this time around, they said that they weren't sure.
Robert, I want to ask you about something that has been part and parcel of former President Trump's messaging about President Biden. That is, he can't put two sentences together. Is there any risk for the former president putting the expectations for President Biden so low, it's almost impossible for him not to cross that very low threshold set by Trump?
It's certainly possible that expectations set by either side could end up falling back and hurting them politically if they somehow misplay their hand here. But what's most important is that we have a campaign that so far has been waged largely on social media, with each candidate respectively taking potshots at the other politically, poking at the other's record in office, their legal challenges, their age, their perceived physical nature. All of this has been the story of this campaign. And now a debate presents an opportunity for voters to hear where these two men, these nominees, stand on issues that affect them in their day-to-day life. And this is a serious moment for these campaigns. Are they really willing and ready to speak to issues like the economy, the tough issues confronting the United States right now in the Middle East, with foreign policy, with China? As a reporter, I welcome any debate because it provides an opportunity for these candidates to be held accountable for their views and for people to hear something beyond the prepackaged presentation on social media or political advertising.
Nancy, is the Biden re-election campaign certain even the first debate will happen?
They are not necessarily certain. Remember, last time around, there were supposed to be 3 debates. There ended up being 2 debates. And while the Trump campaign says that it would like to see even more than 2 debates, they want 4. The Biden campaign is sticking with 2. They appeared to reject a 3rd debate offered by Fox News today. What we keep hearing from the Biden campaign is, well, let's just see if the former president shows up to the 2 debates that are now scheduled. So I asked the communications director, Michael Tyler, about that argument today. What makes you think that President Trump wouldn't show up?
Well, he certainly does have a history of complaining about debates, skipping out on debates, complaining about them. That's what we saw in 2020. But as it relates to 2024, Joe Biden is going to be showing up.
There's no question that former President Trump skipped all of the primary debates that the Republican Party held. So what the Biden campaign argues is, yes, we now have these 2 debates in the books, but let's see what happens when we get closer to game day.
A fluid calendar indeed. Nancy Cordes, Robert Costa, thanks so very much.